Brazil, the home of football, the country that had won more World Cups than anyone else in history. And in the summer of 2014, they were ready to do it again, on their own soil, in front of their own people, with the weight of an entire nation on their shoulders. But what happened over those 4 weeks would become one of the most unforgettable stories in football history. A story of redemption, heartbreak, and one of the most shocking results the sport has ever seen. This is the entire story of the 2014 World Cup. The 2014 FIFA World Cup was hosted by Brazil, marking the second time the tournament had returned to South America's footballing giant since 1950. That year, Brazil had hosted the World Cup and lost the final on home soil, a wound known as the Maracanazo that haunted the nation for generations. 64 years later, Brazil had a chance to heal that wound. With a team built around Neymar, Brazil's brightest young star, expectations were sky high. The pressure was immense. Anything less than the trophy would be considered a national catastrophe. 32 teams arrived in Brazil that summer, but a few stood out as genuine contenders. Defending champion Spain, who had dominated international football for 6 years. Germany, a team that had been building toward this moment for nearly a decade. Argentina, led by a rising Lionel Messi, desperate to prove himself on the world stage. And of course, the hosts, Brazil. The tournament began with shocks almost immediately. Spain, the reigning world and European champions, the team that had redefined football with their tiki-taka style, were drawn into a group with Netherlands, Chile, and Australia. In their opening match against the Netherlands, something extraordinary happened. The Dutch, who had lost to Spain in the 2010 final, delivered a brutal response. Robin van Persie scored a stunning diving header, and by the end of the match, Netherlands had humiliated the champions 5-1. It was one of the most shocking results in World Cup history, not just because of the scoreline, but because of who it happened to. Spain looked like a team in decline overnight. Days later, they lost to Chile as well, and were eliminated from the tournament in the group stage. The fastest exit by a defending champion in decades. Meanwhile, other stories were unfolding. Costa Rica, given almost no chance in a group containing Uruguay, Italy, and England, pulled off one of the great underdog runs of the tournament, topping their group and advancing to the knockout stages. As the tournament moved into the round of 16, the real drama began. Brazil faced Chile in a match that went all the way to penalties. The host nation survived, but it was clear this Brazil team was nervous, and the pressure of the tournament was visible on every player's face. Colombia, led by a breakout star named James Rodriguez, were playing some of the most exciting football of the tournament. Rodriguez would go on to score 6 goals in the competition, including a stunning volley against Uruguay that would later be voted the best goal of the tournament. The Netherlands continued their impressive form, eliminating Mexico in dramatic fashion with 2 late goals, including a controversial penalty converted by Arjen Robben. And then came the quarterfinals. Brazil faced Colombia in a match that would change the course of the tournament. Brazil won 2-1, but the victory came at a devastating cost. In the closing minutes, Neymar, Brazil's talisman, their best player, the man the entire nation had pinned its hopes on, suffered a fractured vertebra following a knee to the back from a Colombian defender. Neymar was out of the World Cup. Brazil would have to continue without their star player in the semifinals. On July 8, 2014, Brazil faced Germany in the semifinal in Belo Horizonte. Without Neymar and with their captain Thiago Silva suspended due to yellow card accumulation, Brazil were already at a disadvantage. What happened next has become one of the most talked about results in football history. Germany scored in the 11th minute through Thomas Müller. Then, in a stretch of football that left the stadium in stunned silence, Germany scored 4 more goals in just 6 minutes, through Miroslav Klose, Toni Kroos twice, and Sami Khedira. By halftime, the score was 5-0. The Brazilian crowd, who had come expecting a celebration, sat in disbelief. Some fans cried. Others simply stared blankly at the pitch. Germany added 2 more goals in the second half through Andre Schürrle, making the final score 7-1. It remains the heaviest defeat in Brazil's World Cup history, and one of the most shocking results the tournament has ever produced. Klose's goal that day also made him the all-time top scorer in World Cup history, surpassing Ronaldo's previous record. The match would forever be known simply as the Mineirazo, a new wound to sit alongside the Maracanazo of 1950. While Germany was making history in one semifinal, Argentina faced the Netherlands in the other. This match was a far tighter affair, a tense defensive battle that finished 0-0 after extra time. The match went to penalties, and Argentina's goalkeeper Sergio Romero made 2 crucial saves. Argentina advanced to the World Cup final, with Lionel Messi one step closer to the trophy that had eluded him throughout his career. Before the final, Brazil faced the Netherlands in the third-place match, a game that for the host nation felt like a funeral. Still reeling from the semi-final disaster, Brazil looked deflated and defeated. The Netherlands won comfortably, 3-0, adding further pain to Brazil's tournament. On July 13, 2014, at the Maracanã Stadium in Rio de Janeiro, the same stadium where Brazil had suffered its heartbreak in 1950, Germany faced Argentina in the World Cup final. The match was tense and tightly contested. Both teams created chances, but neither could find the breakthrough. Argentina had a golden opportunity when Gonzalo Higuain had a goal disallowed for offside, and later missed a clear chance in front of goal. Messi himself came close with a free kick that drifted just wide. The match went to extra time, and then, in the 113th minute, substitute Mario Gotze controlled a cross from Andre Schürrle on his chest and volleyed it into the net with his left foot. It was a moment of pure magic, and it would prove to be the winning goal. Germany held on to win 1-0, securing their 4th World Cup title and becoming the first European team to win a World Cup hosted in the Americas. For Messi, despite winning the Golden Ball as the tournament's best player, the disappointment of losing the final was etched on his face as he collected his individual award. The trophy that would define his legacy remained out of reach. For now. The 2014 World Cup will forever be remembered for 2 things above all else: the stunning brilliance of Germany's collective football, built over years of careful planning and youth development, and the catastrophic collapse of host nation Brazil, whose 7-1 defeat became a symbol of national heartbreak. For Germany, it was the culmination of a project that began over a decade earlier. Proof that patience, structure, and investment in youth football could produce a world champion. For Brazil, it was a wound that would take years to heal, and a tournament that forced the nation to confront difficult questions about its football identity. And for the world, it was a reminder of why the World Cup remains the greatest stage in sport, where legends are made, hearts are broken, and history is written in front of a global audience. This was the story of the 2014 World Cup. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe, because over the next few weeks, we'll be telling the stories of every major World Cup, leading right up to the tournament happening right now. Next time, the story of how Spain built the greatest international team the world had ever seen.